Tennessee Prison System in Crisis.
Yeah.
Is that what we want to do, Reverend Alexander?
Sir?
Call it the Tennessee Prison System in Crisis.
That sounds good.
Because there's been a lot of information that's been written about that and etc. You know how to handle that? Can you handle that?
I can handle it.
Can you handle that, Reverend?
Yeah, we can handle
He
it.
can definitely handle it.
And so what we'll do, we'll call this
Tennessee Prison System in Crisis.
I think we ought to call it that. Okay. The Tennessee Prison System in Crisis. Okay, and then we'll go through some statements in reference to background and education and etc. Perhaps during the first 3 minutes of this first part of this show, and then the second 3 minutes, which is to say we'll give you an opportunity to talk about your background, education, etc. A minute and a half or whatever. Give you an opportunity to do the same.
Wow, this don't need to be in my pocket.
And then we'll be over that first 6 minute segment.
Okay.
And then we'll get into, for the next 8 minutes, that 8 minute segment, we'll get into a system in crisis.
Okay.
And then the two of you can deal with that from whatever perspective that you want to deal with it.
Okay.
And we'll have a chance, you know, once we deal with the background education, that 6 minute segment, we'll have a chance to break during that segment and come back for 8 minutes dealing with that. And then during that 10 minute, that third segment, we'll have Ben and Ndume to come in and talk about.
That sounds great. Kind of their experience.
And I think both of those were involved in death sentence.
Well, Ndume was, Ben spent 22 years, last time. Right.
And Ndume was on death row.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll have 10 minutes to deal with them. And so now we'll simply deal with the system in crisis.
Okay.
That sounds great.
Reverend Alexander, is that right?
That sounds good.
Quiet on the set.
Okay, so we're going to get the two of you during this last 10 minutes.
Say your name and count to 10.
Okay.
JAlexander, 1, 2, 3,
6
4,
minutes, 8 minutes.
5.
Louder. Act like you're talking to
Prison
Dr.
system
Haney.
in crisis.
JAlexander,
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4,
And,
5, 6, 7,
we'll
8, 9,
get
10.
with the two of you dealing with
That work?
Yep. Thank you.
some information about the prison system. Y'all ought to be familiar with that. You see, you ought to be able to give us 10 minutes. Man, you think you can give us 10 minutes in reference to what went on out there?
Oh, maybe.
Daily routine. And all that stuff like that.
Just about what, you know, about things that you think folks need to know in reference to the daily activities and et cetera, anything like that.
Life, what's it? A day in the life of an inmate.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
I know they both have
So we're going to call this the Tennessee prison system in crisis.
And the violence, but they can talk about too, some of the violence that takes place in the system that's not reported, that they've seen because of the spirit of time they've been in there.
After we get through this second segment, then y'all give them your chairs.
Yeah.
Y'all stand around and give us some information about what they think, what you think that they ought to talk about as well.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yep, I got you.
Help us run this. And I think that at the end we ought to be able to get all this information in with these two segments.
Yeah.
Okay? Okay.
You look well. You
Ma'am,
look about
God
10
has
years
been good
younger
to
every
me.
time I see you. What are you doing? That is a good
Pastor
thing.
Walker knows he's been good.
Yeah.
Ain't he been good?
Yes, sir.
I always say that.
Yes, sir.
You better watch it. I might do it. What is it, the 23rd Psalm? The Lord is my shepherd.
That's
He is. He really is. He really, once you come to recognize that a lot of things can be accomplished through that. We call it Tennessee prison system in crisis.
Can you be surprised how many people that could talk and say something, but are afraid?
I contacted a number of people for the show who are like working now on the inside, and some who have quit, and people are afraid. You know?
Well, I don't want to say anything that would jeapurdize anybody. I mean,
I'm not going to use anyone's name,
yeah,
but I think it's safe to say that there are people who at least contacted my organization who currently work with the department who are looking for guidance and help and are afraid for their jobs.
Okay. And so we'll have this first 6 minutes, introduction, you know, background, education, et cetera. Then we'll do that for 6 minutes, a couple of minutes for the two of you, and then we'll take that break and we'll come back for 8 minutes and talk about system in crisis, okay? And then we'll vacate the seat and we'll bring those two over for 10 minutes, and we'll be able to deal with the show today, okay?
What time do we get started?
In a couple of minutes, they're queuing up the servers to roll.
We actually got out here early.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, get out here. We've got 2 more to do after this.
Oh, yeah.
30 seconds
We have
out.
done 2 this morning.
We're almost there.
Yeah, we did one on Lana came through this morning and talked about, out of all things, the life and times of Oscar Schindler. Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Tennessee prison system in crisis, and we're fortunate to have with us to talk about some of the issues dealing with the Tennessee prison system, Pastor KWalker, as well as Reverend Jeannie.
Alexander.
How did I do that? Huh? Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the Tennessee prison system in crises, and we're fortunate to have with us to talk about some of the issues dealing with the Tennessee prison system, Pastor KWalker and Reverend Jeannie Alexander. And we'll use this part. Did I do it right this time? I got it right
yes,
that
sir.
time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Reverend Alexander. And so, Pastor Walker, let's start off by having you to give us some information in reference to your background, your education, and some other things. And Reverend Alexander will give us similar information in reference to her background. And then we'll have the second segment to get into some of the issues dealing with the Tennessee prison system. And we're off now. Go on.
All right. Well, I'm Pastor Kelvin Walker, born and raised right here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm native Nashvilleian. Dr. Haney, first of all, thank you for allowing the opportunity to be on your show. Educated in public school systems here in Tennessee up until a certain point. Was not a desirable character coming up young as a young male in this country, and got in a lot of trouble and stuff like that. Eventually got kicked out of the public school systems. But from there I went into the military, went into the Navy, got got out of the Navy, got a GED, spent some time at Tennessee State University studying clothing and textile. I wanted to be a fashion designer. And from there, of course, all during that time, I was on drugs, and I got strung out on drugs, and ended up, that blew my, my college pursuit right there. Ended up incarcerated in Tennessee State prison system. Did some college studies in there through Tribeca East Campus Prison Program, up until good old President Reagan cut out the veterans benefits and stuff like that, and kind of squashed and killed the program for a lot of us that was pursuing degrees while incarcerated. But that's who I am, and I'm here today to talk about some things that I think that are very important.
Very good. Reverend Alexander.
Dr. Haney, thank you for inviting us back. I am the director for No Exceptions Prison Collective, which is a prison advocacy organization. We work on behalf of prisoners and their families. So I'm an attorney, but I'm also a pastor. And prior to that, I was the head chaplain at River Bend Maximum Security Institution. And it was during that time when my eyes were really opened about the realities of mass incarceration in this country, and about the fact that none of us can claim to be innocent bystanders at this point. We know what's going on. The information is out there. And so when I resigned a year ago, I left with the intention of starting No Exceptions and working with a collective board that includes outsiders. We have a lot of attorneys in our collective, a lot of pastors and professors, but then also insiders. So in order, I think, to have integrity, is you have to continue to working with prisoners and with their families. And typically, we stay focused on very specific issues in the prison system. But recently, there's been so much buzz and noise and coverage, as you well know, about the prison system currently and about the current administration, that we've received so many calls and so many letters, not just from insiders, but from employees, from families of prisoners, that we become involved in other issues that are immediate and very timely right now, and having to do with the well-being of those who work in the prisons and those who live in the prison.
And so this would include some of the issues, Pastor, that you think are important in terms of this crisis that we talk about.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, one of the things I've always said in a lot of previous shows that we've done here on Comments, Dr. Haney, is that one of my purposes is to change the signal that's being from the prison system back into society. Because there's this process that takes place where we'll follow the individual from the crime scene throughout the judicial process all the way to the gate or to the walls of the prison system. And from there, we drop them off and not realizing that individual pursues life while incarcerated. And of course, at some point, many of them are returning back into society, but the prison system is sending a signal out that suggests to society that everybody's in there is low down, dirty, they're just scum of the earth, they're no good. Even though the purpose of incarceration is for rehabilitation and punishment, but they send a signal out that says these people never change. And so therefore they use that to justify all the methods and means that they use against people to basically dehumanize people that are incarcerated in the prison system, and create all these systems that are in place that really sends an individual back into society if that individual does not take the initiative to work on themselves, worse off than they were in many cases when they went in there. You know, and I say that because you take, for example, you lock a man in a cage for 23 hours out of a 24-hour